Alex Crook, our transfer god, tweeted earlier that he's been told Rangers are not smashing their wage structure for Aaron Ramsey. Juventus will pick up the majority, if not all, of his wages. talkSPORT legend Ali McCoist has said Ramsey will be the club's biggest signing since Gaza. That's how huge it is. I can't get my head around this. This just doesn't sit right with me at all. And if I'm wrong on this, or if I'm right, whatever your view on it, really want to hear from you, because I think this does affect fans in different ways. 03717 223344. Rangers are top. They've just dropped points. There's a big old firm clash coming up. I'm not sure whether Ramsey will play and feature in that if he does sign for Rangers today, if that is confirmed. I believe he's having a medical right now, but all to be confirmed. But between now and the rest of the season, you would expect Aaron Ramsey to at least improve the starting 11 for Glasgow Rangers. Now, effectively, Juventus, if they're paying even the majority, but it looks like it might be all of his wages, if Juventus are paying all his wages or a big chunk of his wages, that is Juventus subsidising Glasgow Rangers' title push. How is that right in any way? That's not fair on the rest of the Scottish Premiership, is it?
That sounds a bit twisted.
Which bit's wrong?
That sounds like Juventus have got a vested interest in Rangers winning the title.
Well, by saying to Rangers, well, we'll pay Ramsey's wages, you have him, they effectively are.
That sounds a bit twisted to me, that.
But it's not wrong. I'm not wrong with what I'm saying. And no rules have been broken. Let's clarify that.
Exactly. Maybe we should be applauding Rangers for the business that they're doing and the fact that they could get a player like Ramsey in through the door and they don't have to pay for that fact.
But that means they can't afford him. So if they can't afford him, surely they shouldn't be paying for him. And we've got Derby in administration at this moment in time. Some of the wages their players are on is eye-watering, by the way. But there you go. That's another story completely. You know, we've seen the damage that can be done to some clubs. So, yeah, it's great that Rangers aren't paying for it, but that means they can't afford to pay for it. So should Aaron Ramsey be playing for a club who can't afford to pay him? My view has always been, and I know it's unworkable possibly, and it's not necessarily in the best interest of the player, but my view has always been, if you take a player on loan, you've got to pay all his wages. All right, I accept there's another way of looking at it, and that's not necessarily the right way to go about things in every single case. But you're talking about two big clubs here. Rangers are still a big club. I know their income is nothing like the Premier League clubs. It's nothing like Juventus. I get it. They're not in that ballpark financially. But to have Juventus paying for one of Rangers' players between now and the end of the season, that in itself, to me, feels really wrong. That feels like it's unfair on Celtic, who are trying to get in there. Hearts, who want to break through, they're some way behind. But anybody else who Aaron Ramsey plays well or scores against this season and might even send down into the Championship, it feels so wrong. Can you not see where I'm coming from?
I can see exactly where you're coming from. But no rules have been broken. It's clearly fantastic business from Rangers to be able to pull this off. Albeit, I don't think he'll make a dot of difference because he barely plays, can't stay fit. I'd question his character because he's always finds himself being able to be fit and playing well for Wales. He does. Every time I watch for Wales, I'm like, wow, he's still absolutely the player that could be in the Premier League, be in the Scottish Premiership, anywhere over Europe. And then when he does come on for Juve, I'm like, that's not the same player. Why can't you stay fit? Is it because Wales allow him to maybe be at 80%, maybe miss training and they manage him really well? Is it just his mentality? What is it? That has to be put into question as to which Aaron Ramsey is turning up for Rangers, because they'll be excited. They'll be really excited that Aaron Ramsey is coming to Rangers, possibly. But which Aaron Ramsey are you getting? What are you getting?
It's a great point, because
why are Juventus happy to pay him to go? Why?
They're happy to pay him to play for another club. It's just that in itself is mind blowing.
But it's a great question in terms of morally fair. Is it morally fair? My personal opinion is sort of a buying club as such should have to pay at least half of a loan, wages of a loan, because the other team might want to, it just might not work out and you have to get rid, and half would be fine. But if it is the case that they're paying, a significant amount or even all, I think you're right to ask that question.
I think it hadn't occurred to me, but Ali McCoy's saying that he's the club's biggest signing since Gazza, and then you're saying, well, hang on a minute, what kind of player are they getting? Is he going to be as good as maybe the Rangers fans think he's going to be? And I want people to know that football's so tribal. I mean, I mentioned on Twitter earlier today something about Scott Parker signing everybody at Bournemouth. Instantly, somebody tweeted back to me, why do you hate Bournemouth? I mean, how can anybody hate Bournemouth? It's just bizarre. The same thing with Derby. I asked a question about Derby on Twitter. Oh, why do you hate Derby? It's nothing to do with that. It's not about hating a club. It's not about being tribal. I said exactly the same about Celtic when they signed Fraser Forster on loan from Southampton. And Southampton were paying a huge amount of his wages. They went and won, I think, the League Cup with him in goal or whatever. The first thing they won with him in goal. And I basically said that Southampton had won a trophy on air, and obviously Celtic fans went crazy. Went crazy, thinking, oh, he must love Rangers, and now the Rangers fans are probably thinking he loves Celtic. It's nothing to do with that. This is about the loan system. It's not really about Rangers. It's about the fairness of the Scottish Premiership. It's about the fairness of the competition and the integrity of the competition. And I think that's worth asking that question without any doubt. Do you think Celtic will be happy with this? I mean, they've done it themselves. I mentioned Fraser Forster.
That's a great question, whether they would be bothered. I think come the end of the season, if he turns out to be the player that we know he can be and he stays fit and influences his games like he can, I think they would. I think they'd be furious.
Right, let's get your views on it. 03717223344.